All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Crypto Wolf, and we are back here doing another of this self-improvement Sunday series, even though you're not going to be catching this on a Sunday, let alone if you're watching it later on. But who cares? Doesn't matter. I started it on Sunday. I know it. Don't matter if you know it. But this one is part of our Get Your Shit Together series, part 2. If you didn't watch the first one, go check out the first one. It's kind of an overview. Maybe it's a little bit long, but you know what? Getting your shit together tends to take a little bit, and I'm not going to skimp on it. I'll go over the whole damn thing. So I kind of broke down just the general areas last time, so we're going to get specific this time. And this one's going to be about influences. Now, why am I talking about influences? Because, like I said in the first one, garbage in, garbage out. If all you ever consume is garbage material, garbage content, your brain is just going to think in terms of garbage. You know, if all you ever watch is, BS TV drama, that's what you are going to become. If all you ever are around are negative people and negativity and people whining and complaining and making excuses, you're just going to whine and complain and make excuses yourself. It is going to train you to mimic whatever your input is. It's going to turn into your output. So influences are very, 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 very important. And in the case of this video, I'm going to be showing I can only speak for me personally, so I'm going to be talking about some of my influences. And let me see if I can actually make the text a little bigger here for you. Let's go 20. How's that look? All right, hopefully that's a little bit better. If you have to, turn the resolution up a little bit. And in the meantime, tell you what, we're going to flip it on the 1 minute for all my crypto people out there, so you can kind of watch the chart while we're doing this. So there's something else going on besides me yapping my trap a little bit. All right, so influences, I broke it down into 7 sections. Number 1, financial. Number 2, call it game/dating. 3, masculinity, and these aren't in any order. 4, motivation/determination. 5, fitness. 6, man skills, because if you're a man, you got to have some damn skills. I mean, you can't just be useless. You need to provide value. And 7, knowledge. All very important, and all things that over the course of your life you are going to be picking things up, learning from people. And nowadays, in the age of the internet, there's an unlimited amount of resources at your fingertips. And it's interesting, you hear people call them influencers, and we're talking about influences. We are in the age of influencers, and you know what? Despite what anybody might say, not everybody with a YouTube channel, or everybody who's running their trap on Twitter, or people making 1-minute little TikTok videos is an influencer. I would like to narrow that down to people who are actually providing value to others. People you can actually learn from. Learn something useful from, I should say. Because you could always learn bad habits. You could always learn bullshit from people. You could always learn how to make excuses and how to be a bum. And you'll notice there will be a few things that don't even make this list. And of course, this is not an exhaustive list. These are just people, channels, things that have been influencing me. I narrowed it down for the most part to like the last 2-3 years. And I've known a lot of these for a lot longer than that, but they're the ones that have kind of stuck around. And I had no idea how many channels I was subscribed to till I started flipping through there. But I'll try to keep this one brief a little bit. So number 1, financial. And these aren't in any specific order. I'm not saying any are, more important or better than any of the others. It's just the orders that it either popped in my mind or I saw it when I was scrolling. Mark Moss, cool dude, does a lot of great financial education type stuff. Also another crypto dude. If you are unfamiliar with him, by all means, go check him out. Super cool dude. He even does little conferences and stuff. You can learn a lot from him. Videos are a little bit longer, but if you're watching me, hey, I run my mouth too, so who am I to complain? But Crypto Face had to throw him on there, the creator of Market Cipher over here. And although he doesn't necessarily do I don't know, educational videos or anything like that. At the same time, I had to throw it up there because he was a big influence on me when it came to trading and getting into trading and, you know, technical analysis and things like that, and really help put things in perspective for me, because there's a ton of stuff out there revolving around crypto and trading and this and that, and listening to him helped me to simplify what I was trying to do rather than going 100 different routes. Kind of, all right, narrow it down, stick with this, get better at it, run with it. And on top of that, dude's a super cool guy. Super cool guy. I can relate to him more than I honestly thought I would, like anybody else doing this stuff. So maybe that makes me a little bit biased, but awesome dude. See, BitBoy, if you're unfamiliar, biggest crypto channel on YouTube. I remember when I first got back into crypto, he was like the man everybody was watching. I was watching, learned a lot from him, and he's grown a lot too, even just over the last year. But does a lot of you know, current events, news type stuff most of the time lately, but there's a whole lot of helpful stuff, especially going back, you know, through the history of the channel. Benjamin Cohen, another crypto dude. His channel is Into the Cryptoverse. Now this guy, he's very analytical. He really gets into some serious technical analysis, looking at the charts, the histories, the patterns, the cycles. He's also been getting a little bit more into other aspects of the financial markets, so looking forward to see what he does with that. Patrick Bet David, dude's an OG. If you haven't heard of him, you're slacking. That's all I gotta say. Absolute OG. Has the Valuetainment, I think is the name of his YouTube channel and kind of company, if you will. Does a lot of interviews with people. As I first came across him when he was interviewing mobsters. Awesome interviews, I gotta say. Just even for entertainment purposes. But he also does a lot of like self-improvement type stuff too, specifically, you know, for men. His interview with Andrew Tate, probably the best one you're gonna find anywhere. Robert Kiyosaki, everybody knows him. Rich Dad Poor Dad, his channel, Rich Dad channel. I haven't watched a whole ton of his stuff, but obviously everybody knows him. I've learned stuff either from him directly or even tangentially because everybody else learns from him too. Dave Ramsey, another huge name, needs no introduction. Now these next two are kind of interesting. They're definitely smaller, but they're something that you really want to think about, especially if you are in the crypto space, specifically trading, or even just trying to build wealth in any way whatsoever. These two channels, Clear Value Tax and Toby Mathis Esquire. And this guy, I mainly learned from him asset protection. And because, you know, it came time, like my first time ever having to do taxes after getting into trading and stuff, and I'm like, oh crap, like I hear all these horror stories and everything, and I'm like, all right, I really need to like, A, I need to learn what the hell I'm doing so I don't screw myself over, and B, when you do start getting into the financial game, you don't want to do it like an amateur. You really want to learn some of the important details, and one of the most important details has to do with taxes, because the fact of the matter is we live in the real world. As much as it sucks, as much as I hate having Uncle Sam's hand down my pocket scratching my nuts, always trying to take $1 out, but shit, I just said that. Oh, my bad. You really got to learn, you know, the whole tax situation. And if you are trying to build it up into maybe starting a business or a nonprofit or whatever it might be, you really need to have a basic understanding of the way the system works. Otherwise, you're going to screw up. It's going to roll over you. It's going to take everything you worked for. So not only do you need to know how to play by the rules, but you also need to know where some of the loopholes are and some of the ways that you can protect your assets from, you know, the same way that rich and powerful people do. Like, they know the system, they play the system, they built the system, and they did it in a way that, you know, they don't have to basically keep getting scammed like everybody else. So if you want to learn some of those tips and tricks, by all means, check those out. So number 2, and this doesn't mean it's the second most important thing. I wrote it this way, whatever, deal with it. Dating/game. You know, if you don't know, you know, playing the game. Andrew and Tristan Tate, I've especially been watching these guys a lot lately, and just the mindset, and really boiling it down to, you know, what men really are, what we're really about, how to act and behave like a man, how to be a high value man is super important, even if for nothing else than giving you a goal to strive for. You know, if you feel like you are not content with doing the 9 to 5 and, you know, having a decent place, a decent car, you know, being able to buy, you know, whatever stuff you want whenever you feel like it. Like, if that's not quite enough and you want to take it to the next level, absolutely start listening to these two guys, these two brothers. Check out, you know, their personal stories. Again, go watch the interview with Patrick Bet-David on Valuetainment with Andrew Tate. And I guarantee once you start listening, you'll be like, oh shit, like, wow, I'm slacking. Like, I am slacking. I'm wasting time. Come on, we need to go. We need to get on it. Another interesting show. They do podcasts, but they also do some educational type videos. Fresh and Fit, I think, just hit 1 million subs, so it's getting up there. So if you're not familiar with them, you know, they go over, you know, financial, dating, and fitness. And so, you know, they're very much part of the manosphere, as it's being called at this point. But they also do the after hours podcast where they bring the ladies in and they basically talk about, you know, the differences between men and women and the thinking and the psychology, and how most women just don't have the slightest effing clue what guys want or how they think. And it's entertaining, to say the least. Although sometimes when you get them all chirping and yapping at the same time, if you got headphones in, you know, be advised, you know what it's gonna sound like. Another channel I repped these guys the other day, Araco TV. It's one of those, like, you know, little clips where they do little reviews of like little TikTok videos and stuff like that. So I mean, if you just need something to watch real quick, you're burning time, maybe you're cooking, you're doing the dishes, whatever it might be, and taking a break from all the absorbing all this self-improvement knowledge or something, you want something entertaining, you know, nice wholesome entertainment for men right there. That sounded a lot worse than it was. It's not like that, but check it out. Now this one, Jedediah Bila, is one of the few female, I don't know, channels or podcasters. I mean, I guess she does kind of do a podcast, just a show or whatever. She's actually under Bet-David's Valuetainment, but definitely one of the few women who really gets it, especially if you're getting into, you know, making men again type genre here. And, you know, this bringing back masculinity, she absolutely gets it. You know, real AF. Try not to swear as much this time. So it's interesting, you know, so if you know, it's nice to have different perspectives. If you want the female perspective, that's not going to be complete and utter BS, check her out. She does good stuff. She pretty much interviews, you know, a ton of people from this list anyways. The Rational Male, good channel for guys. Jay Waller, another good one. A lot of these people, they all go on each other's shows. It's becoming the community, especially for men who are trying to step their game up. So, you know, go check them out. Obviously, there's going to be channels everywhere, all over the place. People saying this, that, and the other. Everybody's got, you know, the best advice. Everybody's going to tell you how to pick up girls, you know, in 3 quick and easy steps. And honestly, I respect the way these guys are talking it, because it's not a gimmick. They're not talking gimmicks. They're not doing some 3-step program. They're not making you, you know, pay just to get the basics. I mean, they'll get you going, and if you really want to go further, yeah, they got some paid stuff too. But frankly, I feel like you need to take the free stuff, run with it, get your game up before you ever even consider doing that. So group number 3 here, Masculinity. Obviously, there's more men than women watching this show, but you know, a lot of girls that I talk to, they like this stuff too. They like seeing, you know, real men, seeing real MFers doing real stuff. And of course, why wouldn't they? I mean, we like watching women too, but there's so many weak, cowardly, simping men these days that it's almost like refreshing for them to be like, oh, like, okay, I'll learn this. Well, shit, I'm gonna have my dude start watching this stuff. So if there are any ladies watching this one, you know, feel free to send your dude this way or these guys' ways. But same people as number 2. Yeah, again, all these places definitely focused on masculinity. Now we start getting into some other stuff. So John Lovell from Warrior Poet Society started out doing gun videos and stuff like that. Branched it out, started getting into more aspects of life, even talking about marriage and parenting and all that kind of stuff. And awesome dude, former Army Ranger, good guy. Jocko Willink, I'm sure you probably heard of him. Former SEAL, team leader, big old cock diesel MFer, has his own podcast. Awesome stuff, great for motivation, dude. You know, if you need a drill sergeant type guy to just tell you what it is, tell you this is what you need to be doing, you know, stop slacking off, go check him out. I don't know about you guys, but personally, sometimes I need the drill sergeant. I'll even do it to myself in my head. You know, sometimes you need somebody to yell at you and tell you to quit being a BI and get off your ass and do something. Jordan Peterson probably needs no explanation. Been waking up a whole generation of young men lately and just talking just common sense philosophy. And it's been sorely lacking, so that's why he's been getting popular. Had his own troubles, but, you know, whatever. Real Men, Real Style. I actually just found this channel in the course of like trying to remember some of the channels for this list. And it's like how to dress for men, how to look professional and stuff like that. So I'm definitely going to be checking them out. Figured I'd just share it anyways because, you know, if you're trying to be a high value man, you're trying to step your game up, it's not going to happen in sweatpants. Just saying. Now this one, James Butler. This guy is interesting, and I just randomly came across this guy, and he owns a septic tank company. Sounds super, I don't know, boring you would think, but he started off on TikTok, started going onto YouTube, doing shorts and this and that. Very entertaining, but also a legitimately smart guy, especially if you're trying to start a business or you own a business, or even if you're just an employee. He talks a lot about, you know, those various aspects and just like the kind of boss you wish you had. I mean, super cool guy and very interesting. Far From Average. I have not actually watched this channel yet, but I kept seeing it come up, and I remember seeing it come up in the past. Threw a little asterisk here, so I can't really say whether or not they're great or not, but I'm going to be checking them out. Actually just subbed to them like a half hour ago, so we'll see what that's about. And of course, you can't talk about masculinity without talking about Mike Rowe. If you don't know, from Dirty Jobs, he's everybody's dad lately. I mean, this guy's doing more for you know, trying to pull people up, trying to get people off the couch, champion the blue collar people. Just outstanding, awesome guy all around. So next group here, motivation. Obviously many of the previous people, a lot of them same thing. We start getting into some other stuff. Sean Ryan Show. If you have, and a lot of the motivation, at least that I use for motivation, are people's personal stories. I like hearing people's personal stories where they've been through some shit and they've gone through hard times, or they've gone through absolute craziness, and hearing that's like it gets me pumped. It motivates me. And Sean Ryan Show is probably one of the best, somewhat newer podcast I've ever come across. Started out interviewing other you know, military vets. Been branching off for the last few months, getting other interesting people in there. He just had Machine Gun Preacher in there. That was a pretty interesting one. Had another guy who was like one of the top guys running drugs for like Colombian cartel and stuff. And it gets interesting. He's got people that, you know, like a journalist that was working with the cartels in Mexico. He's got Rob O'Neill, the guy who killed Osama bin Laden. The guys from the Blackwater fiasco. And there's one specifically talking about motivation. He interviewed Cody. Damn, I can't remember his last name. Look it up. He interviewed this Cody guy, and this video has got millions of views. This dude is something else. I mean, just the energy and the wisdom from this guy is off the friggin' chart. And he starts right out from the beginning. You know, if you're a parent, if you have kids, what he says about his mindset and the way he wants to approach raising his, you know, new son. I feel like every dad walking out from the hospital after, you know, their child is born should have to listen to this dude's little spiel right there, because holy crap. All right, straight up. So go check out Sean Ryan's show. Outstanding. Production quality just keeps getting better too. But combat story, if you're into military history or anything like that, this dude, former 160th SOAR helicopter pilot, if you don't know, that's Special Operations Aviation. He goes and interviews all kind of SF guys from the various different branches and time periods, and gets tons of super interesting people on there with awesome stories. You know, obviously tons of combat stories, and just very motivational, very entertaining. Just great stuff to have playing in the background if you're doing something, or maybe you're listening to it, you know, like a podcast at work or something. Just great channel. Billionaire Hustle. Now this one is a YouTube channel that's generally short clips. I don't know if they do regular videos, but just little short clips and good motivational stuff. Cleared Hot podcast is very much like Combat Story. You know, more interviews with you know, former military, telling their stories specifically, you know, from overseas, and even growing up. There's just all kind of, you're gonna catch good stuff all over. Now you get into like these specifically motivational channels. You got Motiversity, Motivation Mentors. There's tons of them on YouTube, and what like the big ones, what they tend to do is they'll play clips of speeches and interviews and stuff from famous people or successful people, and you're always going to hear something good. You know, it's just something will click, light bulb will go off in your head, like, damn, you never know what's going to stick with you, and you never know what's really going to like hit you in the feels and get you to propel yourself to the next level. So, you know, keep a steady stream of motivational stuff, because can't be slacking. You know, time is short. We're not here that long, and with everything going on, probably even less. So quit wasting time. You know, whatever it takes to get you moving. All right, so fitness. I honestly don't have very much to recommend on this one. There is a channel that I do sub to called Gravity Transformation, and they do a great job of recommending various exercises and how, you know, working specific muscles and stuff. Ton of good videos on there for that. If you're looking for something, or you're trying to find a way to like work a very specific part of you, that channel I know for sure is good for that. Again, yeah, sorry I can't recommend too many more. If you have any recommendations, by all means throw it down in the comments, and that applies to any of these sections. But you know, most of my fitness influences have come from real life. Like I played hockey for 10 years, not counting, you know, pickup leagues and stuff after that. Had a Russian Red Army coach for most of that 10 years. Been to all training camps all over the Midwest. Like, I've been through it, even to other places I'm not going to talk about, where like I've literally learned to be able to work out every single part of me with nothing. No gym, no equipment. You'd be surprised how much you can accomplish with just yourself and maybe some random shit laying around the house. So there's really no excuse for not being able to get yourself in shape. I promise you, I could give you 100 something odd exercises to hit every part of you just inside your bedroom. So there's no excuse. But all right, man skills. Like I said, if you're a man, you got to have some skills. If you're useless, what the hell are you doing with your life, honestly? This one kind of, it ranges. I tend to be a little bit heavy on the, you know, the tactical side, I suppose you could say, plus some other stuff. But Tactical Rifleman, classic one, Carl, his channel, awesome dude, former Green Beret. Last Line of Defense, dude does a lot of like overland trucking, but he also does a lot of other stuff, good gear reviews. His comparison of solar panels and stuff was awesome. Gray Bearded Green Beret, again, another SF guy, obviously older, does a lot of bushcraft type stuff and a whole lot of other interesting stuff too. You know, great channel. I think he also does some little like cabin builds and stuff, but there's informational stuff scattered all throughout there. Prep Medic, if you need to know how to do medical stuff, which if we're being honest, you need to know how to do medical stuff. I mean, I've been in enough situations in my life where, you know, shit happens. It does. Whatever it might be, car accidents, workplace accidents, just doing dumb shit, falling down the stairs, whatever it might be. You know, you're by a bonfire and something in there pops, explodes. Next thing you know, you got shrapnel in your leg, which, been there, done that, had that happen. And so I learned a long time ago to at least learn a lot of the basics. Especially because, you know, just some random shit could happen. And if it hits an artery, like, time is short. Like, you don't got time to wait for an ambulance. You really don't. So, you know, you need to learn at least how to use a tourniquet or how to fashion one. You know, how to do basic cleaning and bandaging. Like, so Prep Medic, good for that kind of stuff. Plus good for explaining and recommending gear and stuff like that. Survival Dispatch, getting into the, you kind of say survivalist type stuff. Maybe not necessarily survivalist, but, you know, that genre. And they cover everything under the sun. Now, S2 Underground is a little bit more niche, I should say. I almost don't even know how to explain it. It's a little bit more for maybe if you're into organized groups of people like that, let's say. And they cover some topics that generally don't get explained in detail very well. So there's interesting stuff around there. They also kind of do like a sit rep type thing whenever big events are going on. But Canadian Prepper, everybody knows him, everybody's heard of him. Gear reviews, little demonstrations, all that kind of stuff. I'm not a huge fan of his like current events updates. I think it's a little too much doom and gloom, and you know, here's one thing, makes a video about it, kind of makes it seem like, oh, you know, it's the end of the world at the moment. And I'm probably being a little harsher than I should be, but you know, I'm capable of making up my own mind. Roots and Refuge, now they do a lot of like homesteading stuff. So if you want to learn about like gardening or raising animals, being able to feed yourself, all that kind of thing, good stuff. Learn how to make my own butter from them. That was interesting. How to make everything. This guy just has an overall interesting channel, and you know, you'll learn how to make a lot of useful stuff. You'll also learn how to just do a lot of random shit. Like I was trying to remember some of them. I scrolled through some of the videos before making this video, and like I saw like dude like fixed a burnt car, and like I just all kind of interesting stuff, like how to fix things in a non-traditional way, and like it's just interesting. I don't know, I'm fascinated with that. I'm kind of a hands-on kind of guy. Like I fix all my own stuff, at least to a degree. GBRS group, back to the tactical. You know, these are very serious former operator types. So good stuff. Also, I mean, let's be honest, not too bad of role models if you're looking for some seriously hard motherfuckers. Tim Kennedy, world's most interesting man. I don't know, maybe not, but he's definitely up there. Cool dude to listen to, very motivational, very funny, very interesting. Definitely been on some adventures, you know, formal special forces, and dude even went investigating Nazis in Argentina, turned it into a TV show. And if you ever hear his interview with Joe Rogan about that situation, it's very fascinating. Grand Thumb, Again, more tactical if you're not familiar with that. Not only does he do entertaining, you know, pew pew videos, but he also does, especially lately, he's been doing these like how to survive in the mountains, how to survive in urban areas and stuff, like just awesome videos, just awesome. Fieldcraft survival, dude's a beast. They cover all sorts of topics. Super cool guy too. All right, so moving on, knowledge. What are we at here? 30 minutes. All right, we're not doing too bad. Knowledge. Now this one, I'm not even going to get specific about. This will be pretty quick because this is going to depend largely on what your interests are, you know, what you're into. But I feel like everybody should at least be able to broaden yourself to at least a good, well-rounded general knowledge of practically everything. Sounds crazy, sounds like a tall order. I don't know. Me personally, I'm like they say, a jack of all trades, master of none. Is it a good or a bad thing? Fuck if I know, but you know what? I can hold a conversation with anybody anywhere, so I'll take it. History. I love me my history. Good stuff. You know, if you haven't checked out... Let's see, I got this book behind me over here. Thermopylae. I can't read the subtitle, but Gates of Fire. If you want to learn about the 300 Spartans at the Gates of Thermopylae, where the Persians were running up on them. Awesome book. Different perspective than you would think it was, especially if you saw the movie 300. It'll throw you off a little bit at the beginning, but stick with it. Engineering. Learn how stuff works. Learn how to fix things. Like the world we live in right now, I mean, everything comes from engineering. So, you know, how's power generated? How does your freaking car battery work? Like, learn that stuff. Geopolitics, you know, that one, I guess a lot of people just aren't into it, but the fact of the matter is that is the way the world works. And if you don't understand geopolitics, at least to a basic but realistic degree, the world is going to come up and smack you in the face eventually. And it's been, the last couple of years have proved that for a lot of people who generally did not pay any attention to it. Next thing they know, they weren't allowed to leave their house and didn't understand what the hell was going on. And they thought, well, we're not getting into that. But if you want to know where the world's going, where economics are going, you need to have at least some situational awareness. Man, biff that one. Technology, you know, tech stuff, computers, you know, I'm assuming anybody on here and anybody doing trading, you have a decent knowledge of tech stuff. Manufacturing, again, how things are made. You know, if you had to improvise something yourself, it doesn't necessarily mean making stuff on a CNC machine, but you know, do you know how to make a fire without a lighter? You know, little stuff like that. Can you fashion a tourniquet if you get in a car accident and blood is pulsing out of your friggin' leg? You know, just being handy, being able to make stuff on the fly can be very useful. Electronics, pretty much the same principle there. Current events kind of falls, you know, similar to the geopolitics over there. You know, just generally keeping up. Like you don't want to be caught off guard. And I get that, you know, it's all negativity. And the reason I say current events and not news is because you're really not learning anything from the news. You generally want to have at least an eye on what's going on in the world so you don't get caught off guard. You know, if you start hearing that there's diesel shortages and it's spreading across the country, and maybe you want to go stock up on gas, or maybe you want to stock up on groceries, because if trucks can't move, food doesn't get to the store. And it's stuff like that, especially nowadays, that you got to keep your head up. Medical, kind of like we talked about before, have some basic knowledge and understanding. At least learn some first aid. General science, again, good stuff to know. I mean, kind of goes hand in hand with the physics. Like, do you understand why the things do what they do in the world? I mean, obviously, you know, if you throw something in the air, it's going to come back down. But, you know, learning other things too, whether it's just simple stuff, you know, centrifugal force and all that. Even just driving, having an understanding of, how brakes work and the forces involved in friction, if it's raining and this and that. I mean, just, it's good to know. Don't be an idiot. Learn your world. And power, not talking about electricity. Learn how the world is run and who runs it and what their motivations are, what their perspective is, and, act accordingly. Tactical might not appeal to everybody. Maybe it does, but at the same time, you need to be able to defend yourself, defend your family. If you are trying to be a high value man, you need to be able to defend your girl, your woman, your wife, whatever it might be. And trust me when I tell you that, if you're a weak guy, you're not taking care of the fitness, you don't have any man skills, and you have no tactical prowess whatsoever. If some dude tries to take your girl from you, if you're walking back to the car in a dark parking lot and a couple guys come up, I'm telling you, it's not going to end well. Not to mention the fact that her seeing you get knocked the F out, like immediately, not putting up any fight whatsoever, she's probably not going to call you back. That's not going to get a second date on that one. But yeah, you got to learn to protect yourself. The whole point, of almost everything in life, is survival and propagation of the species. Well, you're not going to survive if you're friggin' dead. So, just saying. And self-improvement, and also home improvement. Keep learning to make yourself better. I keep harping on it, and that's what this whole video here is for. So if you've watched this long, good job. Baby steps. Home improvement, learn how to fix your own shit, seriously. I mean, how are you going to be a man and not be able to fix a friggin' toilet? I promise you, it's so easy. They made these parts so ridiculously easy. I mean, you could fix most stuff on a toilet with no tools at all. None. Like, literally no tools at all. It's all plastic and thumb screws and thumb nuts and stuff. Or wing nuts, whatever you want to call it. But, at least be able to do some of that basic stuff. Because trust me, I mean, if the toilet's not flushing and it's full of shit and you got a girl over, how's that going to go down? You're going to be like, my bad, the bathroom smells like shit. I'm waiting on the plumber to get here. When you could just be like, yeah, hold on a second, I got to fix this damn thing. She goes, oh, damn, he's handy. All right. But in finishing, aside from just watching YouTube videos, find people in real life that are doing what you want to be doing and are living how you want to be living, or have achieved what you want to achieve. Pick their brain. And it doesn't necessarily mean being a clingy little pest. You don't want to be a stage 4 clinger, especially on another dude. But, show that you respect their hustle, you respect their accomplishments, and you want to learn from them. And a lot of people will appreciate that. They'll be like, oh damn, like it's nice to be respected. It's nice to be appreciated, especially, all the hard work you've done. And a lot of people out there, given that they have the time or inclination, might be happy to kind of take you under their wing, show you the ropes a little bit. You never know unless you try. Personally, I've read and listened to literally hundreds and hundreds of books, from military histories and bios, other nonfiction, to even a ton of fiction books in genres that oftentimes will make you think about how you would react in situations, or how you would deal with different types of people, communicate with other human beings, etc. If nothing else, maybe you want to be like James Bond, or have the stoic authority of Don Corleone. And FYI, I had to throw this in here. His other books, Mario Puzo's, by the way. If you don't know who wrote The Godfather, oh man, you're slacking. His other books, besides Godfather, are outstanding. Also check out Fools Die and Omerta. 2 awesome books, fly under the radar for most people. If you're a fan of the Godfather movies, the books are friggin' awesome. There's more books than there are movies, by the way. And the third movie, isn't even part of the book series. But check it out. Even Mark Weingartner after Mario Puzo died, he actually picked up the series, and he actually went and hung out with Mario Puzo's daughter, and his daughter was even saying like how good a job he did in capturing Mario's voice and the way he told the story, and just the story that he did tell. That, you know, I've heard some people kind of talk trash about it, but whatever, you know what? It's good. It's good. Get off your fucking high horse. It's like Godfather's Revenge, and I can't read it from here, but I got it on the shelf too. But yeah, like, and I get it. I hardly have any time for actually reading books anymore, but I do a lot of audiobooks. I'm kind of blessed to be able to listen to audiobooks while I'm at work and in the car and stuff. And otherwise, it's wasted time. I mean, you know, I listen to music sometimes, sure, but, you know, it's time that you could be spending at least either improving yourself, or even if you're just listening to a fiction book, keep in mind, like, don't just listen to it for entertainment value. There's going to be tons of stuff, tons of themes and interactions and character developments and plot arcs and all this stuff that, you know, look at it from your perspective. Like, would you act that way, or how would you act in that certain situation? What would you do differently? Do you like what the author had the character doing, and be like, oh damn, like, all right, like, I like the way this character behaves, how he thinks, how he interacts with people, and maybe adapt some of that to yourself. So, you know, just because you're, you know, consuming entertainment doesn't necessarily mean that you get nothing out of it. But you'll notice the one thing I didn't really put on there was video games. Me personally, I do like twice a year, I'll spend like a week, just the evenings, playing a game. And I'm probably going to cut down on that even. Like, at one point I went like 4 years without playing any video games. But fact of the matter is, you know, unless you're perfectly content with where you are, you don't have time for it. Flat out. I don't have time for it. You know, if you're trying to get somewhere, you're trying to step it up, you're trying to be a high value man, you don't have time for it. And on that note, I don't have time to keep talking to you either. So, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you have any other suggestions or any influences that were really good for you. By all means, please share them with me. I always love to get new good stuff. So, on that note, I will see you guys next time, and we'll see what we got. Yeah, money flow coming down on the short term a little bit. Coming up on the 1 hour. Kind of going flat a little bit. We'll see. We'll take a look tomorrow. But later, everybody.